how are your bot lane champions? That's the kingmaker here from anyone's legend.
Now, everything seems to be fine for the moment, but again, Karma, very powerful, as you mentioned, so then it just has huge mid-game spikes with, and even early game as well, just being able to have push priority. I've seen it in a couple of different lanes, most likely to go into the mid lane, but we'll wait and see where that does end up going. EDG gonna lock in, I mean, get the Varus, I mean, the Cassante would be great here as well. Like, I mean, again, Allah just did so well in that last game, I don't see why you would change it.
It's an easy lock-in. You have the Varus and the Cassante on the same team. That means that without the Cassante being on the other side, less tank options are available. Cassante really is the premier tank, which means that Varus can potentially even go for something like the Poke build. Poke Varus is very good versus Kalista, so now that's locked in. Varus can start kind of chunking them out in laning phase and not have to trade auto for auto. He gives some build diversity to EDG if they want it as well.
And get the Kalista, the Xin Zhao, a lot of mid-game power here for AL as they look to just try and maybe just bulldoze over EDG and get themselves back into a winning position in this matchup, or even just an equal position in this matchup. And EDG, I mean, they're kind of happy just to go with a very standard front to back, get the engage, get the solid side laning going with the Cassante, and then, you know, the Varus, that you can wait. That's the beauty of the Varus, why he's so often picked these days, is that you can go poke, you can go, you know, DPS. They're both viable.
And in this game too, you know, have the effectively point-and-click Varus option now, where Nautilus CC someone's up for, you know, 3 to 4 seconds, and the Varus lands his entire CC chain during that as well, from half a screen away. So, now you're playing a hyper-mobile, hopping around Kalista, who gets hit by the Nautilus. Everyone else can follow up on that. The Varus is going to take you down to half HP from that. Very difficult game comparative to last game for a Kalista. Now, you can also see from EDG's side, they think, well, okay, let's try and take away some kind of follow-up options from the Kalista to stop them from being as aggressive. Whereas the Alistar away from the Kalista is very, very important. We saw how Vampire could use that aggressively in the last game.
See what they want to do. Right now, it does look like focusing out some of those AP options, but Hui made it all the way down to the end of this draft after the Azir gets taken away as well, and the Orianna. That's 2 massive counters into him. Just feels like it's the strongest pick to go for right now.
And particularly with Hui, we just talked about with the Varus. Hui, it's great if you're playing these skill shot champions when you've got someone who can CC someone up, like the Nautilus from long range. Hui, exactly the same. It's why we're seeing a lot of stuff like Hui and Vi picked together. Because, or even stuff like from JDG, so the Hui and then the Twisted Fate. Point and click into all of your skill shots from a full screen away from the Varus and the Hui. This Karma or the Kalista, even the Shinzo, if you don't pop your ultimate quick enough as well, are going to get one shot from a screen away if they're not careful.
They got the Udyr, so again, getting themselves... I was going to say, you kind of need someone to go in with the Xin Zhao here. Feels like everything... you know, kind of really does feel like it all relies on this realm now. So you are picking that one up here for Kael. It is going to be difficult. It's kind of putting the whole emphasis on Kael to get in with that big ultimate, get some kind of crash down as well, and then you follow up and pick off people with the likes of the Udyr and the Xin Zhao. But we'll see how AL pilot that particular one. And EDG, they're going for a little bit more kind of push and power. They're looking for that little bit of early game aggression, get that Graves going, get that kind of early farming jungler, and look to just kind of create their own pressure on whatever side of the map they choose.
And they're also just doubling down on that. One person is CC'd, everyone calls it. It's like Helldivers when you're calling in the Orbital Bombardment. You just got like the Graves turning a railgun in one direction. You got the Hui bringing in like the Eagle Airstrike. The Varus bringing in the poke as well. If someone gets hit by this Nautilus, the Fury of the Gods is going to hit that one poor target with everyone else off the screen. So anyone's legend, they need to find and engage onto the backline before they can set up the artillery platform.
Yeah, they got to make sure they are building as much as they possibly can, as we do see coaches just getting themselves their handshakes off. Wait to see now where they want to try and build it from here. And I mean, look, EDG, this is the best of a position you're ever going to find yourself in. And you have to make sure that you are getting the right setup, the right start to this game, and making sure that you're coming out of this with as much, you know, kind of positivity as possible. The season's not over. You still can make it to playoffs, to postseason, and you still want to put your best foot forward. I want to see them get a 2-0 here.
They had played 16 games before they loaded into this series, and they've only won 2 of them. Now, with their 5th unique roster of the year so far, they find themselves their 3rd victory. They could even look to, I guess it's a small consolation, they could double their wins they've had from their first 7 series in one fell swoop today against anyone's legend. They need to stick the landing though.
Yes, they really, really do. And We're going to wait to see now where both these teams can go. Of course, for AL, they need to try and get this ship righted. They are riding such a high right now. 5-2. They're up with the big boys. But they're not quite there just yet. They still need to do a hell of a lot of work if they really want to try and put this game to rest. Put this, kind of season on a high. They're on a four-win streak. Highest they've ever been, as you mentioned in the last series. I want to see more. I want to see them do well.
Would be a real story for this team. Anyone's Legend, they've had big roster changes coming into this year. I think particularly, you can talk about a lot of players coming in. Hope, Shanks coming in, players from WE of last year. Hope was said to be looked at by a lot of top-tier LPL teams, so he chose this team. He had different options. They've kind of stuck to their guns to see if they can make something special out of this roster. Now we have ourselves a very different level 1. We have a Nautilus and we have ourselves the Rel, both these very strong level 1 champions. I think both of them have sniffed each other out. EDG, how are you getting out of this one?
Oh, we'll see how they go for this one. They're going to try and just fully force in. They're going to be caught around, though. They do get the first kill. Monkey will be traded back, though. And that's a 1 for nothing. It's going to be 2 because the Snake has nowhere else to be. And that's over to Udyr as well. So a 2-for-1 trade in favor of AL. And I mean, it's not terrible, but it's definitely not the side they want to be. And Vampire's he's got to execute. Yeah, he had no way out. And then that's unfortunate. That means they're going to be late to lane. The whole system's been changed. It's all so weird.
And now suddenly you have the Snake who's blown both summoners. Yes, the Kalista has 2, but you've blown a lot of summoners. You're going to be late to lane. You've given up the priority of the first couple of waves, which is absolutely hellish versus a Kalista who can use the XP advantage to hop forward and force fights onto you. And this starts from just the weirdest level 1. As we saw the group up from Anyone's Legend, the recalls weren't channeled, maybe not channeled in time, maybe they thought, oh, we've got to get out. But they're only here as 3 people. They don't have Fisher here. They don't have their top laner coming down as well. They've gone for a very aggressive invade, and they just don't have the numbers to back that up.
No, they really don't. And again, it just really... I don't want to say desperate because it's not really a desperate play. It's more just kind of like, oh, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, well, it's high risk, very low reward, in my opinion. It doesn't really feel like it's kind of something that's going to change the outcome of the game. It's not really going to, even if you get 2 kills there, it doesn't really change how the game is going to be played in the first few minutes. And now you're dealing with lack of summoners. You're dealing with lack of pressure now around the map. Fisher just being pushed back consistently. Because I think Shanks is just very confident knowing that, hey, look, the Graves is not really going to be in position to kind of go for it. Oh, they saw them. Oh,
that's
wow.
how they got tipped off. So they were seen on the ward heading down there, but just a quick dip outside the brush. You can see that in terms of perspective and vision. Gosh, EDG really going to be ruining that mistake because now they have to start from significant gold down, a significant pressure, lanes down. The Udyr always pushes in the Xante early game if he wants to. Of course, he can just use that Phoenix stance. He's going to shove in with the Storm. Bot lane, we already talked about how Vampire getting back to lane was a problem, and of course you got the Karma with the Mantra Keys very early on. Croco has 3 winning lanes to play around, and he can walk into the enemy jungle and potentially stop the Graves from really getting a lot of value out of this early game. Now I will say, Graves is one of the better junglers to play without winning lanes, because you're happy to just kind of farm up, and you've got an E to keep yourself safe in your own jungle too. And you're pretty good at dueling as well. So it's not like Monkey feels like he is obligated to impact these lanes from a jungle perspective, but it's still a very powerful point from Anyone's Legend to play from.
We'll see where they want to try and take it. That's the big thing, is that yes, you get this little advantage. You get yourself a very early Vamp Scepter here in the bot lane for this Kalista, which Hope is just going to feel so good about right now. But wait to see what he actually is able to do with that little bit of a boost, shall we say. Decent wards on the top side for AL means that Hery shouldn't be caught out by Monkey here, and Monkey goes for a full reset. So I know the last time that the Graves were seen was in that top side. Now Fisher, you have to be careful here. These tethers will start to get a bit more, or these mantra Qs with the tethers will start to hit you a lot harder as the game gets into those level 6, level 7 marks.
A lot of these trades look pretty brutal early on in mid lane, but the way I've been referring to it recently is that the first couple of trades in mid lane are not really for solo kills. Occasionally they are, and sometimes if you overpush, the jungler can come in and gank. But it's really a battle of the economy. You're looking to make someone go back. So for instance, Fisher is back from 30 CS. Because Shanks has taken better trades, he gets to back a wave or 2 later, and he gets to back on 40 CS. So in terms of the next phase of lane, he's got an extra 10 CS of minions to work with, and it means that as you fight now around the map, you're going to have a stronger Karma.
Yeah, and Monkey has no flash, no life. Croco gets the kill. Really good roam up there from Kael.
That was really, really well played. And even if he does make it out of that initial play, then the mid lane has come into it, and that's when the karma would have been a really big point of power. So Monkey, really just too overbold. You're playing around losing lanes. Yes, the mid lane is just back, but Kael covers things nicely, as you just said. So the support roam, very, very impactful. Anyone's Legend, much more confident start to this game than the last.
Much confident one. Much more confident kind of setup here. And again, just kind of, this is the AL we saw. It's why we were so surprised when we jumped in hot into that last game, why the game was just felt like AL were panicking. They looked like the AL from, you know, a year or so ago, where they just weren't really sure how to play, where they wanted to play around and such like that. So great to see them really kind of going back to what's been working with them so far. Monkey knows he's on a ward here. Shanks is got the push in mid lane, so I don't think they're going to be able to go for this when you're already, again, down on the bot side as well.
Well, Fisher does have execute damage, and Shanks is low HP. Maybe that's what they're trying to play around, but they're just caught again.
Why is Vampire going in on that? There's just no need. A flash in to try and get everybody locked in and ready to go. They're not quite able to get the damage down because it's so early in the game. A flash for a flash after Croco gets ulted on top of him. He's at the back of the pit. Nowhere for him to go. Kael not quite able to get away from this one here, but now the Snake, he's getting jumped on, but he gets himself a kill before he goes down. And it's not even going to go down. They're going to get the Dragon, and this is EDG tying up the kills straight away.
So, despite the fact that they got caught out a little bit in that bot side river, the big moment was actually Shanks being half HP and sticking around. He can't be the extra kind of threat where you can walk up with an empowered W or an empowered Q. Karma sometimes does need to brawl it out. You see that anyone's Legend, they're just a little too overbold. The hook doesn't, of course it catches out the rel, but it doesn't stop the combo coming through, which means that the first kill goes down. But you've just walked in to this way. He can do so much damage to multiple members if he's not threatened. Now everyone's in so low HP. The Snake, who has actually gone for the on-hit kill, not going to do the lethality one, and then the Hui have more than enough follow-up damage to turn things around.
Really well done there by the side of EDG, just to recognize that, look, hey, the Snake can just free hit right now. Yes, it looked like Vampire went in a little bit too early, but really well done. They do get themselves some kill, equal out the goal just that little bit. But unfortunately for them, their big prize, which is that early Dragon stacking, not going to be going over to them, unfortunately. And with two of the Eddies already taken as well by AL, they are starting to win on this, but ooh. Might look for a hook. Oh, that lollipop was insane. Flash by Hope. He should be able to kite this one out and get his support out as well. Monkey was potentially in the position to get a double kill there, but a good reset here from AL.
All right, Monkey see, Monkey gank. Good awareness of him to get into the lane. Even though bot side control was over to the side of anyone's Legend, he goes through the lane and finds himself at an angle, takes away a flash, takes them out of lane, which means that the Snake and Vampire have a bit more breathing room. They've just got themselves a lot of gold from that bot side skirmish, and now after the disastrous level 1 and then the catch out in topside river, EDG have managed to fight their way back to a decent point in this game. Have they been the ones really clawing this back, or have anyone's Legend been throwing it to them? That's a question maybe we'll have to answer again, because these two teams have been quite imprecise, but EDG will take that nonetheless.
And we'll take it. You'll take whatever you're given in these particular situations, but for now, it's fine for both these teams to kind of reset, get themselves back onto the map. And again, like we're missing so many flashes, so many summoners. It does feel like when we get these more scrappier orientated games, those big key cooldowns, they become so hard to keep track of just because they're being burnt so often.
Yeah, and that means that your team fighting instincts and your skirmishing instincts have to change with that. What will, of course, change is that when you've been skirmishing around the bot side of the map and these top laners come into play, Hery is actually very strong right now, and you do have a lot of champions which can just get ran at, someone like a Graves or a Hui or a Varus. Take a look at the map changes that have come into this season as well. If you're fighting in River, it can be sometimes harder to hop over a wall away from the Udyr, and if the Udyr is very strong and is building up to it, first item Ice Spawn, I want to see how those team fighting instincts evolve once the top laners come into play, but it's another skirmish on the bot side.
Oh, they're looking for everything and everyone. It's welcome to the bounce house, Snake. He is getting burnt down by the Ignite, and he will fall. They are, however, taking
Fisher.
a huge amount of damage from Fisher as they look to try and get this ult off and down onto everyone. Now, though, they have to try and exit out stage right, because this is where Hope can really do some damage. Will pick up another kill, so that's 2 for 1 in favor of AL. And my God, this game is getting so unbelievable. Everyone's just going in, just going for everything.
It is an absolute brawl. Fisher has turned up at a couple of key moments now to throw down the AoE, but he can't get away with as clean a fight as the last time. Now, they see Kael going in here. They see that Kalista is under turret. But what's the logic that they don't know where Shanks is? The flash out of the bush from Kael on top of the Shinzao. This is not the distance that you want to be playing around. If you get to play from a bit longer range, so the Graves can kind of follow up and layer his ultimate over the top of the team fight instead of having to flash out, a very similar kind of thing, then these fights look a lot better. They just walk in way too close and disrespect the flash out of the bush.
Disrespect this, and for the moment, just keeping themselves tit for tat. 1,000 gold lead. Dragon. Next Dragon up in about a minute and a half, I think, if I was to correctly guess the time. Unfortunately, the timer is still broken here on 14.2, but waiting for more to do. And again, look, as much as we hyped up the top laners and, you know, Hery getting an early kill and stuff like that, it's been relatively quiet. 15 CS lead or so for the side of AL's top laner. Now a dive in this bot side. They would love to have the ultimate available. They're going to get a teleport coming in. Doesn't land the CC, though, to try and keep Vampire underneath the turret. Doesn't need it because the Callista gets a kill back. And EDG going for that aggressive play. Get punished. Shanks was ready with the teleport.
And the fact that the Callista gets a kill out of that too is just really annoying. It's a shutdown, it's some extra gold from the single kill from EDG, but it's still not worth it. And while all this is happening, Ala, who is on the Cassante, has been hemmed in a lot more this game. One of the things that we talked about in the end of last game is Ala going to get that Cassante again, and is it going to be valuable if it is going to be the case? They've done a good job with that. They're just not part of this conversation though. They're not going to be able to teleport down. The Karma can. As soon as that teleport is channeled in, you realize things are probably going to go pretty bad. You do have the initial numbers advantage, but I just think EDG are overestimating their burst damage a huge amount here.
Really are, and honestly, it does feel like, again, I like that play. I like it in essence. You're trying to get in before the Magnus Storm comes in. You're looking to try and capitalize on the fact that the Rel will not just be able to turn it around. And, oh, Jesus. Speaking of turning it around, that's a hell of a lot of damage to be going for there. Hoof does land. The crash down won't be able to get them everything. Does have the aftershock to keep them nice and healthy, though. Fisher TPs to find absolutely nothing, and they're going to go for the Kevins again.
And they will be denying a few over. There's actually only the one left. It's not even the second spawn coming through. Anyone's Legend took two early, and then means it hasn't gone to respawn. Because they've committed heavily towards the top side, though, means that EDG are not going to be here to defend that one plate going down towards bot side. Shanks is going to be a little closer towards his first item now. He'll be heading towards the Malignance, which of course made Karma so strong alongside the buffs on the Q and the shield as well. Dragon is up. That means that with top laners coming down, we might even see Ala and Hery get involved for the first time.
Oh God, it's just fight, fight, fight. Let's keep fighting. There is no respite right now. Flash away by Vampire. Does keep his life, but unfortunately it does give over the second Dragon of the game to AL. However, EDG are looking to maybe fight for it one more time. Fisher does back himself away from the oncoming Hex flashes. Everyone starts to be here and jump in. Hery just trying to be a distraction, putting in so much work right now. Look at Hery, he's 1v3ing right now, and he's winning. That's a solo kill for Hery when everyone was on top of him. He didn't even have the help of his team just yet. Croco getting jumped on, getting cut down by Ala, who finally jumps in. And this is becoming about which top laner can do the best. To have the Fates Call come in, jumping onto Ala to try and burst him
CC
down.
chain!
CC chain is monstrous, and that is going to be 3 for 1, excuse me, in favor of AL.
So, the question we asked earlier, how are the team fighting instincts going to change when top laners come into the play adapt? They're not going to adapt well. EDG completely get blown apart by the Udyr. It's a champion across multiple regions, which has had varying degrees of success, but when you can get onto a backline that cannot run fast enough away from you, it is lights out. This poor Varus gets slowed by the Ice Wall, gets damaged by the Storm. He's popped his Ghost, but it's not enough. This Udyr completely destroys the backline and takes up so much time from them that they can't win this fight.
Insane just to think Hery was just 1v3 right there. But again, it's similar to game number 1. When Ala's not there, EDG, they just feel like they're all bark and no bite. They want to go for fights. They want to try and make something happen for them. But at the end of it all, it just doesn't seem to work out for them. And then now they're still going to lose the Dragon after going for that fight. They're 2,000 gold down.
You don't even have plates anymore to take on top side, so Ala can't even get a consolation prize from that one. Shanks is hitting the bot side, has a couple of those grubby buffs as well to make sure that a little bit of extra damage goes down there. So, only the 1,000 gold lead, about 2,000 I suppose, from anyone's Legend over EDG right now, so it's not completely out of sight, but they do have their first item spikes, and this team spikes very hard at this point in the game. The Karma with the Malignance, the Blade of the Ruin King on the Callista, two of the strongest item spikes in the current meta right now. Heck, we even saw what was happening without Udyr with just the Iceborne Gauntlet picked up, and how obnoxious that can be. If Anyone's Legend can find another fight at this item break point before we get to multiple items on the on-hit Varus, before we get to multiple items onto the Hui as well, who we know can do such a huge amount, Anyone's Legend should rule the battlefield.
This tower top lane, they'll get the Rift Herald, they'll get complete control of the map right now, and for EDG, it's a struggle. It really is a struggle right now, because this feels like it's much less in their control. Shanks will not get spotted out here, which means Monkey takes a fierce chunk of damage. Is gonna keep getting all that damage being put onto him. One more Q would have taken him out, but has to use the ult just to try and create distance between him and the oncoming pursuers.
So that's why Karma's really broken right now. Hits a two-part W and the mantra Q as well, which means that each damage instance reduces the mantra cooldown, which is already really low because of the Malignance, which means you get more mantras to do more mantra damage with. Serious damage, almost one-shots the graves of the one-item mark. This is the one-item spike that we were talking about, and Annual's Legend, if they start flexing their muscles like this, EDG need to be so respectful.
So respectful, but I will say Allah could maybe go for something here himself, gets the all out, and yep, you're dead. Shanks, not really a lot else to do. We talked about respect, he did not give the respect, and Allah is really trying to put this EDG on his back. He is saying, look, you will never bench me again. I am the team right now.
And heck, most of last year he kind of was too. For those of you that were watching EDG through their strong spring and then their sad departure, sadly, from the regional finals. They weren't that far away from Worlds, obviously, you know, they did get themselves into the regional qualifier. But Allah's Jax was one of the real highlights of that run. Donna Casante now doing good work with it. But Anyone's Legend, they just lost a fight with their Karma at this item breakpoint because they were not respectful themselves. Just because you have an item breakpoint doesn't mean you're going to win absolutely every fight with it. That's a sad one for them to drop. They'll have to tighten things up a little bit more. Next time that Shanks wants to play that aggressively, maybe play with your teammates a little closer.
Look, we haven't really had a chance to talk about the bot lane just because it's been so chaotic, but I would say 5-1-3 right now onto Hope. He is just massive, but it doesn't seem to be leading to that big of an item disparity right now. Not even a level disparity, to be perfectly honest, because of the extra 20 or 30 or so CS that the Snake has been able to pick up for himself.
And that's definitely going to help this. Varus gets to a good point of power very early. You can see the Herald used in bot lane. Sometimes we sometimes see it towards the side lanes, but typically the Herald's being used more towards the top lane as now Croco realizes that the charge isn't going to come through. How much are you going to drift with this? Driver's license, the driving test being activated. How far can he get with this? Can he get into the mid turret? No, he's just using it for a bit of a rotation.
I think he was. I don't think he was actually running into that wall because of mistake. I think he just did it because he was like, I'm running out of time. I don't have enough time to go to this turret and make it happen. But now Shanks does have flash, but Allah's already built up himself some serious magic resistance, and having that extra little bit of tenacity with those Mercury Treads as well makes it just so difficult. We will have a Hex Rift as well. We never got to mention that, but should make rotating around the map that a little bit easier. But yeah, I mean, for now, EDG, they're still in this, despite how AL have been able to kind of navigate this early game. EDG have been able to stabilize. They're very much on the same item breakpoints, and they are feeling okay in this mid game.
Yeah, it feels like they'll be able to get towards the 2-item mark fairly okay, unless there's like some really bad dragon fight from them, which I'm not going to say they're not going to do.
We're not going to rule it out.
No, that one's still on the table. But considering the awful level 1, considering how the early game was such a disaster for them, they're in a much better position than they had any right to hope towards. They're still behind. Still got some very powerful power spikes to contend against too. We talked about that, you know, and second item put out for Shanks as well, which means that the Horizon Focus is going to be a very nasty amount of damage if he hits someone from a decent amount of range. Dragon coming up soon, next minute or two. Anyone's Legend, they'd like to use that as their battleground to use these item spikes on. They want to control vision control, so they can get Hery into the backline again and see how much damage he can do.
And the Hex Soul is massive, just having that extra ability haste, the attack speed, and then of course the soul itself, just giving you that little bit of extra damage and slow. It just adds so much to you. But Fisher is just throwing in some serious poke right now. If he's given one or two more abilities, I feel like he could have been able to go for something a little bit more aggressive. But for now, it is just EDG saying, yeah, we will fight you for this. The Baron slinks underneath the river, so goes off over to his pit. Monkey does not get the sweeper onto Kael. So we'll see if he goes for this. Could be huge. Good poke from the Karma.
The more that you land that poke, the more mantras you get. Look for the Varasol too. Top plans on hope. That would be a huge moment. It's flashed away from.
That's both AD carries now without their flashes. That's a pretty big thing to keep an eye on now. Both these top laners are going to be focusing here onto the Varus and the Kalista. But now, Ala says, I'm going to pop my ghost. Answered in kind by Hery on the backside. And these top laners are the difference makers right now.
Hope's
but I will say,
yeah.
Hope isn't here. Vampire taking so much damage. Hery almost goes down. Not quite able to hit with the collateral damage. Monkey not quite going down just yet. Flash forward there by Kael. Doesn't land any CC. He goes forward with the Fate's Call, trying to do something nice. Little knockback there onto Hope, so there's no damage. The fear, the Magnet Storm, everything. There's nobody going down.
Screen.
And they can't hit the auto attacks. EDG turning this fight around. While that was happening, 1v3. Ala gets a 1-for-1 trade. Now Hery, though, is here. Trying to see if he can land on the Shanks.
Oh, Shanks!
Vampire misses his Q, does go down because of it. Now we can see a TP coming back in. Fisher has rejoined the fight, 3v2. People will start to respawn soon, by the way. 20 seconds till Ala is here. They are going to put down the damage on the Shanks as Fisher just tries to keep him away from the Dragon. The Dragon is still the objective as this fight goes on and on.
Trying, okay, how much can their value they get from this? Fisher's now out of position versus Hery, but he doesn't have his ghost. The fight continues. Shanks needs to back and teleport back in.
No, they're going to see if they can maybe find him. Not going to get him this time around. He does get the TP off or the recall off, and we come back in. The kills haven't really changed. Hery is still here. And everyone just kind of take a breath, take a chill, because that was insane.
It was, and it was a bit of a nightmarish fight from anyone's legend. It was super scrappy. There were a number of mechanical misplays, particularly from the bot lane of Hope and Kael. That smoke screen stopping that Kalista from auto-attacking at the end. I'm sure we're going to see it again. Ala just walks up and says, okay, I've got the items. You don't have significant damage here. He stays up in his high HP, realizes he can pop his all out for extra burst at some point, which is exactly what he does, and takes Croco out of the equation. Kael misses a flash combo up the top side of this too. Once they start going forwards with the Kalista all after that point, the smoke screen makes it even worse. Croco cannot impact this fight. You cannot get away from the Cassante when he's playing like this. And even though the teleport comes back in, Ala has done his job. He has had the team fight impact.
The crazy thing is that if he's a little bit lower, he probably hits the honey fruit and gets a load of healing and kills Shanks. Like that's the crazy thing about this. This champion is just so crazy with the amount of just versatile kind of playmaking you can do. You could be a solo carry, you could be a tank initiator, you could be a anything you want to be perfectly honest. And Shanks, the fact that he gets out of this is insane. And in fairness, it is just Fisher giving full respect to the fact that he is 1v2. He was alone.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Fisher, if he walks up any further, things get a little awkward there. Almost gets the kills, the recall comes through. One of the most dangerous things about Hui is if you are low HP, that QW, the Severing Bolt, does absolutely insane damage. And now, anyone's legend, they need to be so careful about giving up another fight. Feels like it's another game where they're in a decent position and they keep throwing it back. Kael no flash to jump forward this time, but Croco can instead.
Yeah, they can indeed. They're going to jump onto the snake and get that kill. The Fate's Call comes out. Ala does not get CC'd though straight away. He's able to get himself away from the oncoming barrage of CC that was coming towards him. But without an AD carry, I mean, does AL feel confident to go for this Baron?
Can maybe try and start it up. I don't know what they'd be looking for. Would they be looking for a fight, or would they be looking for the secure itself? They have the Rend. Hery's trying to hold the door shut, but you are against the Graves and the Wave. Very long range if they want to really try and put together a burst combo.
Yeah. Kael will jump over. We've got to look at the fight over here, this side, though, because we can see there Hery doing so much to jump onto Fisher here. He just cannot take down the tank. So one for none, 2 kills on back to back here for AL as they go back in onto the Baron. But like I said earlier, it's Hex Gates. You can get back onto the map so quickly. The Snake now here. Does he know where anyone else is?
Well, Kyle's off vision. He doesn't have his ult, but he does have the rest of his combo. But without the Hui, that range has significantly decreased. The Snake's back in. He has Flash, he has Ghost, but he doesn't have an ult to start things off.
X-Flash. They're looking for it. They're going to try and jump at the Monkey. He does get a dash away. Not quite able to get any damage onto him just yet. Look at the kiting coming out here from the Snake as he's just keeping this Udyr at bay. Monkey does not go down. It was very split from AL. They've started and stopped the Baron twice now, and honestly, apart from those kills, they're going to lose a tower, so I still think it's worth for EDG.
It's a split decision from anyone's legend. One person's going on to Monkey, the rest are trying to fight Arla and the Snake on the bot side, but then the Baron play fizzles out. They can't finish off that play, and despite the kills they had beforehand, as you rightfully said, the territory goes over to EDG, and that means that we're going to get some clean resets, ability for EDG to take a breath, spend some gold, get vision back into important areas, and bring us back into another place where they can contest. Anyone's legend, they have been oddly imprecise so far. They've really not had an easy time of getting clean victories, and EDG are starting to really punish them for those opportunities in this series.
So let's feel like AL are just not quite as coordinated. Like you said, very big split decisions around going for Monkey, going for the AD carry, not really going for either. These are the things that will haunt you later on in the season. Those small little losses, those little games where you came in as absolute favorites and did not get yourself over the line with it. So we'll see. Do have an opportunity finished up there for the Graves, so getting himself that extra little bit of lethality and movement speed. He's going to be very quick around the map. But I mean, like, this Graves Monkey is massive, to be perfectly honest, just because, again, like we said in Champions, like, he's just a massive farming jungler. Now we come back in to see where this Dragon's going to be. Monkey is topside. He's fast, but I don't know if he's that fast.
The Dragon's not going to be up for another minute. He can clear out the way with an extra round of cooldowns. Going to recall. Does that buy him another item? He has 1.8k. That's a lot of gold. With Baron and Dragon both up, you want your jungler to be very, very strong, but he's off the map right now. It means that bot and mid lane are going to be pushed in. Hexgate taken. Can he get here in time for a proper contest, though? Ren's starting to get stacked up.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be much of a contest. There may be a fight after the fact, though. The Dragon will be secured and confirmed by the side of AL. That's Hex sold. But do they have a fight left in them? It looks like they're going to try and jump here on top of Croco, who has to flash over the wall. Shanks will take the brunt of that damage, but he's got a shield because he's a Karma. But now that you've lost yourself a flash from Croco, do you just turn and burn for the big purple worm?
I mean, you've got, again, quick resets from the Hexgate Rift will mean that they can get back onto the board a little quicker, but how much damage are EDG going to do to this before they get into position? Fisher at half HP, though, is a bit of a worry for them. I don't know if they really want to be stuck waiting for the big engage. The hook misses.
It does miss, and they're going to try and look for the fight after the fact. The Magnet Storm and the Crash Down not going to really do a lot, and that is the Rel down and buried. The rest of AL have to back away from this, but now you've lost a lot of your engage. AL, you don't really have a way to kind of fight this without having to just walk in and take the damage.
It's another really messy engage from Kael, and that means that maybe it's hard for anyone's legend to find themselves a fight, but Shanks is damaged!
Oh my god, this Karma is disgusting. Now it's a 4v4. Shanks knows that Fisher is not feeling the best. While that's happening, Hope goes into the mid lane and goes, cool, give me that objective.
But they've just leashed the Baron. They've leashed it. They can carry it on. Now they have the Ren. They have a 4v4. They can look for the fight or the Baron.
They can look for everything, but we're going to have the all-out. Shanks forced to flash away. They do get the Snake, but do they get Shanks out alive? The answer is no. Now Croco has to deal with Allah, who's trying to just keep everybody distracted. Kael goes in, does not get the crash down. Allah will go down, but he will make a hell of a nuisance of himself, and the resets have to come out. They are going to go back onto the Baron, and this is becoming scrappier than any game I've seen so far this split.
Yeah, this game is maybe the one where you're just going to close your eyes if you're one of these teams' fans and just look for the results at the end, because the roller coaster in between those 2 points is not going to be particularly fun for you. You don't have the Snake to kill the tanks right now. Kael, he's really trying to find these engages, but he's a little bit late to the plate.
I mean, they're still not really committing to the Baron right now, and they're going to lose Hery, which means they might lose everybody else. Finally, they try to look to try and turn around this fight,
Just
but
finish the Baron!
They haven't done either. They're finally, oh Lord, will they get anybody out? That is the question. The Fate's call is not going to be enough. The
No,
TP,
Shanks!
Shanks, how
Shanks!
could you? You could have just walked away. He will get a kill, but he will give up his life at the end of it all. You would imagine he's not going to get out of this. He's actually getting some serious healing off of this one right now. Chain of Corruption, the fear. The Baron is killed, but now Allah can run up mid and take some turrets.
I don't really know what we're watching anymore. I've kind of been used to the LPL being a little bit scrappy, but even this goes beyond our expertise here, Rasheen. Anyone's legend, they don't cleanly choose for the fight or the Baron. Hope tries to stack up the Ren. He does it for a little too long. He doesn't turn onto the fight. And once again, EDG punish the indecision, the imprecision of anyone's legend, and they find themselves at a gold lead.
what is this game right now? Because at the end of it all, the gold is still even. The Baron is no longer on the map. There is a soul point available to AL in about 2 minutes' time. But the map has just been split open. Where are they even putting this replay?
I don't know. We're starting off with Shanks. Honestly, pour one out for Shanks. This guy is trying his darndest. Kael before this completely flubbed another engage. The Rel did absolutely nothing in that play. It really is just a case of how much work can Shanks keep doing. He's in the wrong position at this point. Monkey catches him out. At least hope, and Hery managed to get onto the backline and stop the Varus from cleaning things up. But these fights are just so unstructured. When they get Messi's Kael, this is another complete combo. Oh, he's had a rough game.
We're still going.
Oh my god, it's still going.
Same
I wasn't
replay.
prepared
Same
for the
replay.
whole thing to get replayed. Gosh, you can see that Shanks even he ends up coming back out into this play after his respawns afterwards, but this is where you can see that indecision comes through. Hope is still stacking on the Baron because he wants to finish the damn thing, and we're back into another fight.
They're going to look for Hery now because Hery's going to try and stop the recalls. They found Fisher, and Fisher is now dead. The Dragon is going to be spawning down in the next couple of seconds, and you are out your mid laner. He's going to be 4v5 at best here for you, EDG. The Gates coming in to try and just catch out Monkey. That's a guaranteed no 50-50 there. They're throwing out more damage on the Vampire, and he will go down, jumping onto the Snake as best they can. It looks like AL, they don't want to be the first team to give over EDG their first win, and they are fighting tooth and nail to make sure they come out with a dub.
They don't even have any waves to teleport, though, or to run open into the base, into EDG. The fight is still won by them. And Kael hits himself a combo. Congratulations. It's been a hard rel game. Anyone's legend. This is not even like the game-winning play. They need to try and get themselves that final soul.
Monkey?
Maybe a catch onto Monkey can help with that.
I don't think... Yeah, I don't think... It is what it is. He will die. And oh, really? Or will he? How does he get out? Okay, he does eventually die, but now Croco's in a bit of a bad spot. They do lose the ultimate from Fisher, but he's ticking down that damage fairly nicely. Croco should be able to dash out of that one as he does, and oh my lord, Nightmare, this game is going in. But I mean, you can see the pressure honestly kind of building onto AL because, again, you're against a team that has nothing to lose. They're 0-7. You are the favorites.
You absolutely are the favorites, and one of the reasons why EDG are 0-7 is because they have a lot of very inexperienced carries around the map. So we've seen Fisher and the Snake both be caught out at some very key moments. We see that the soul actually was claimed by Anyone's Legend Summer at the best. It's been really hard to tell when these dragons are coming down, folks. I'm sorry I missed it on that last play. I was like, oh, they got to get that soul. They had it. They still had it at that point. Anyway, Monkey, he's going to respawn now. He has 4 items on the graves, even though he's had a bit of a shocker in some of these moments too. He's going to be very, very powerful. I'm not even willing to call this game done because of the way that Anyone's Legends have been playing out these team fights and these objectives. There is every chance they split, they misuse their team fight, and someone gets burst down. I'll believe it when I see it, Ashi.
I'll believe it when one of the Nexus explodes. That's what I'll believe, but right now, EDG, they're not out of it despite everything. Yes, they're against a Hex Soul and a couple of 1,000 gold down, but we're at the late stage now. We're looking at 4 to 5 completed items per carry. This gold lead doesn't really make that much of a difference. Even the the tanks and such have got themselves 3 to 4 items themselves. So this is a moment or two where we're going to have to try and see who plays this better. And honestly, the best kind of anecdote I can give is that whenever Allah is not with the team is when AL looks strongest. It's when AL look the kind of more in control. However, I imagine now that we've calmed down and are going to let summer spells come all back up, that's when Allah's going to join the team, and that's when things are going to get really rough for AL.
Yeah. I think you can really just tell the quality of Allah in this game. Whenever the fight gets broken, his instincts in how he positions to threaten the backline in these team fights has been absolutely top-notch. Yeah, he's only 4-3. He's not had the 7-kill scoreline of Monkey or whatever, but he has put so much threat onto the backline to keep EDG relevant. Now, if that combos up well enough with Fisher on multiple items on this play, with Snake starting to gun down people in the front line as well, maybe that can be enough. The gold's not out of touch, and even with the Hex Soul down, I'm not willing to call it just yet. We're going to keep returning back to that because both of these teams have been very imprecise. They've been giving a lot of opportunities for the other team. However, what's going to make it harder for EDG is that they're losing control of both side lanes and vision control.
Not have control around the Baron Pit as of right now. You can see it's slinking its way back up towards that Baron Pit. But we've seen AL and Baron Pit so far today not have the best of luck with it. So AL just keeping control over it. They've got top lane pushing, bot lane pushing. They've dotted their I's and crossed their T's. Monkey and the rest of his team now. I'm probably glad that for EDG that hook did not hit, because the TP is coming out immediately from Hery. And that is probably the one time a Nautilus threw out a hook and went, you know what? Hindsight, glad that didn't go the way I thought it did. But the TP now down.
That was a clutch smoke screen. It kept him from being jumped on by the Xin Zhao. Now Ala is with the team. This is the point which you are bringing up. When Ala's with the team, EDG looked very, very strong. That Mechanic Rooken shield is absolutely monstrous from both him and Hery at this point in time. Kael looking for another miracle flank. He has a Hex Flash to channel over the wall. Will he choose to pull it? Vampire might have sniffed him out, and indeed he has. Stops out that flank from coming through.
We have a TP available for Shanks and for Ala and Fisher, so for the moment. But now, the Rel's completely separated. This is the thing, EDG recognizing, cool, we have about 10-second window where we can move in, push everyone off of the Baron. Croco is going to get hit by a little bit of CC. Not going to get taken out anytime soon, though. He is very, very tanky, gone for a much tankier build. Croco will secure himself the switcheroo, as he does have to pick up that one up here. But the blue is the next target, and both teams now kind of swapping positions. Look at the damage from Shanks, though.
Kael, he's still on the extended flank. They stopped him once. Can they stop him again? He's going to come straight out of this tri-bush.
Do they know? They see him now. They haven't been able to go for anything else. The all-out comes in. They're going to try and jump on the Hery, who's just not tanky enough to keep himself alive. That's a great pick now from the side of EDG, and they have a wave on this top side. They will get thinned out, but, I mean, they could be so much more aggressive.
Can be, and Kael, he can't get there in time. EDG, they move away from the fog of war, and now with Hery down, with the front liner down, anyone's Legend are going to find it really hard to walk in here. It really is on Kael to find a big combo.
Yep, it's on Kael, but we'll see what he can go for. Baron, 3,000 HP. They get a huge Mantra Q, but they can't go for the fight. There was actually no smite onto Monkey there. That was well risky as they come into it, but now the pings are coming down to try and set up for this Elder Dragon that will be coming up soon. TP into the mid lane. I mean, if they go for this fight, it's going to be so difficult, but they haven't gotten the vision just yet. Ala is very tanky, and he does his due diligence.
He is the one that can face check, and thank God for EDG, he is the one that performs that. But anyone's Legend, they're losing this fight. They're losing flashes with Hextech Soul. This shouldn't be happening, but they're getting punished so heavily by EDG, who are now even going to get themselves first entry to the Elder Dragon, and I think they're going to take it.
There's no TP. They can't get Hery here on time. They're going to look to try and get Croco over the wall. It's a straight 50-50, and it goes over the way to EDG. Now they're looking to try and turn and burn onto this fight as they look to try and take out this flank. That flank was useless. It didn't do anything. Croco flashed in, so he had no way to go out. Double kill coming in here for the Snake at EDG. They're on the cusp of getting themselves a first win here in the LPL. They will get themselves a kill onto the Callista, and they can beat them 7 times, but you can't beat them 8.
Oh, someone wants to wake up anyone's Legend. Just hope that it was a bad dream, but it is so much more than that. Monkey pushing in the bot wave as everyone else groups up in mid lane. Hery tries to clear it out, but he's not tanky enough to deal with this Varus. He can't clear the wave. He can't stay alive. EDG march forward.
They march forward. Monkey is farming crows. You know what? All worth it. All worth it. Ala jumping on the Shanks. Shanks does have decent wave clear, but again, against the Baroned up minions, against an Elder Dragon, against everyone else, I don't think he's got it. I say that. Shanks is disgustingly fed and having so much work to be put in here. Hit the towers. Hit the towers. That's all you have to do. Just hit the towers. You finally do. Monkey and Fisher are the only ones left. They have to hit the Nexus. This game's not over just yet. They get the spear down. 1 or 2 more autos. Fisher ends the game. And that's the 2-0 for EDG.
An emergency substitution for Monkey into the jungle. A 5th unique roster with 16 games played. And EDG finally strike gold. It feels a little late for them, but they will not be going 0-8. They take down anyone's Legend, who will not be able to create a new record for themselves in terms of a win streak. They'll have to go back to the drawing board. They have very hard games coming back up. But EDG, they finally breathe a sigh of relief. This has been a long time coming.
Oh my lord, what a game. And they made it fun right till the end, but what a way to send yourself into your first win. You can see some smiles of relief, I think, was the